100, and to say the weather's cold is an understatement. The mercury's below the freezing mark, and the first concern for these Bassmasters is just getting their bass rigs thawed out.
You got that right.
With this cold front moving through, the skies today are clear. Fishing is expected to be tough the first couple of days till another weather system moves in and brings clouds, a blessing for bass anglers fishing clear water. This is a top 100 event, a $231,200 Pro-Am competition, where 100 of the top BASS touring pros are paired with amateur anglers from across the country. The pro selects the water to fish, drives the boat, and operates the front-mounted trolling motor. His amateur partner fishes from the back of the boat. Lake Martin, 44,000 surface acres with some 790 miles of shoreline at full pool, is in winter drawdown. At this point, the lake is about 8 feet low and falling. There's not a lot of natural wood cover, such as trees and brush in Lake Martin. Most of the structure consists of rocky shorelines, long points, and islands. While there is fish-holding wood cover in Lake Martin, most of it is man-made brush piles, which dock owners and anglers put out to attract both bass and crappie. While many of these brush piles are situated to attract fish when the lake's at full pool, still other cover has been placed to accommodate lower water levels. Like here, where Georgia pro Tom Mann Jr. and his partner are catching bass from a sunken tree. While there are both spotted bass and largemouth here, the predominant fish is the smaller spotted bass. In fact, the lake's full of them. Most of the spotted bass angling is done on main lake brush piles, rocky shorelines, humps, and drop-offs. The largemouth are more apt to be caught in shallower water back in the creeks. The minimum size length for Lake Martin bass is 12 inches, and the daily limit for this tournament is 7. The lures for spotted bass are usually smaller than for largemouth, with plastic worms, grubs, and jigs the most popular. Another often used lure is the jigging spoon, like Texas pro Randy Fight is using here. It's usually fished vertically along drop-offs and creek channels. On down the lake, Texas pro Tommy Martin is fishing around exposed rock piles. And although the bass so far are small, it's paying off. Missouri's Stacy King likes Lake Martin and has done well here, placing second in this competition last season. How does he compare this year to last?
Just very similar. It's it's got to be a typical pattern every year here this time before the weather gets so cold that the fish back off real deep. They haven't had enough cold weather here to really put the fish out deep, and there is lots and lots of big bass shallow right now. I mean big, what I'm saying big, I mean fish in the 2 to 3.5 pound class, big spots, and most of them are, I think, running in about the whole 5 to 15 foot depth range. So they'll come up and hit a fast-moving bait. They're feeding up before winter, trying to put on a little fat.
Weigh-in time at Lake Martin's Wind Creek Park. And Missouri's Randy Mosley comes to the scales with an impressive bag of bass.
Randy is a fine fisherman, folks. And the big stringer today so far is what? 13 pounds. Randy is an outstanding fisherman, and folks, he's got a bag full of bass. Watch the scale. 15 pounds and 2 ounces. Give a nice hand. I'll lead her.
But here's another pro you can never count out. 4-time world champion Rick Clunn from Texas.
Now, Rick Clunn, folks, 4 times Bassmaster Classic winner. Here he is, unbelievable, almost unapproachable. And look at what he's done today. Another fabulous limited bass from nowhere, somewhere. Rick's weight, look here, folks. Watch this man, incredible as he is. 16 pounds, 2 ounces. Mark it. Let's give a nice hand.
Morning 2 of the Alabama Top 100. Chilly and clear, but with fog in the low areas and throughout the creek bottoms. It's here, along quiet creeks in the soft, shaded light of a slow-breaking dawn, that the sights and sounds of a new day emerge. Life awakens, and the hunted embarks on an escape route it has no doubt used more than once to evade a familiar adversary. One not so fleet of foot or as cunning as Brer Fox, and probably frustrated again. Bass fishing can be equally as frustrating. Let's follow the leaders and see how they're doing. Tournament leader Rick Clunn is at the back of a long, semi-narrow creek. An area like this will hold both spotted and largemouth bass. And even though the lake level is being drawn down, creeks with good water depth close to the bank with scattered cover will hold bass year-round. Rick Clunn started this second day 1 pound ahead of Randy Mosley. Not a comfortable lead. Now, any bass, if a keeper, adds weight and is welcome aboard, like here. But if Rick gets his limit, this will be one bass he'll cull. Missouri's Randy Mosley, fishing close to the weigh-in area, also scores early this second morning. Most of his bass have come on a Carolina-rigged plastic worm, inched along just off the bottom. Clunn still up the creek and still catching bass, and this one is larger. A 7 bass limit this size will keep him near the top. Bassmasters will be right back from Lake Martin and the Alabama Top 100. Don't go away. Catching bass, but most of them so far are small. He hopes to be culling soon, and he'll use a balance beam. When he catches his limit, he'll release the smaller bass by comparing weights on the balance bar. Usually does well in fall tournaments. He confesses he likes this angling and finds it easier to pattern the bass. Usually they're in the creeks, but on a lake like Martin, where there are fewer big bass, the fortunate angler who can locate the heavier largemouth will usually pocket the gold. We'll see. Weigh-in time for the second day of the 1990 Alabama Top 100. And Randy Mosley comes to center stage.
In second place with 15-2. He has a limited bass, all alive. He's got the magic formula, and that is 2 good-looking largemouth.
I hope.
This is going to put you right up there. This puts you in the lead in the tournament. 8-13. Let's give him a good hand, folks. That moves him into first place, Randy Mosley.
And now yesterday's leader, Rick Clunn. We know he's caught bass, but how much weight?
He's the man to beat. 4 times Bassmaster Classic winner, and he's struggling. He's got 7 bass, but he's not happy because he doesn't have the big boy.
You're wrong. I am happy.
Are you really? Genuinely so? With 7 little bass, it won't weigh over 15 pounds? You got, what, all largemouth just about, Rick?
Well, no, I really, I told you yesterday, these 2 days I felt would be the toughest. And
8-12.
I figured if I could catch around 9 to 10 pounds these first 2 days, I'd be in good shape. And so, you know, I feel, no, my main goal for these last 2 days has been get a limit because...
What time do you have your limit today?
Oh, I took all day to get a limit today. It just, you know, just a little tougher than it was, but it's supposed to be. So the way I'm fishing, you know, I could have changed and caught some bigger fish, but at this point I can't take that chance.
You're going to stay with your limit and then take your chance on the big fish?
I'm fishing where there's big fish. They just got to bite. So, you know, I'm not fishing for a little fish first and big fish second. I'm fishing for both of them at the same time.
There's a new challenger at the scales.
Johnny Morton of Missouri, limited bass. This time fishing with nearly 11 pounds yesterday. Look out, folks. This fella's about to come up and scare the star out of the top of the 10. This could be about, how much you think you weighed it, Johnny?
About 12, 12 and a half.
All right, 12, 12 and a half. We'll look at it. Try. Would you be satisfied with 14/8?
Real satisfied.
All right, let's give a nice hand, people. Beautiful bunch of fish.
And here's how it stands going into the third round of the 1990 Alabama Top 100. Johnny Borden leads, followed closely by Rick Clunn and Randy Mosley. Today's weather forecast is for wind, rain, and falling temperatures. The cloud cover is something these Bassmasters have been wanting. Whether it works to their advantage is yet to be seen. Rick Clunn starts off where he left off, catching bass. He needs some heavyweights to go ahead. This isn't one of them, but every 12-inch bass The Bassmasters will be right back with more bass catching action from the 1990 Alabama Top 100 at Lake. Is still catching bass from the same small creek, but they're not big. He needs a big bite. Johnny Borden keeps his hopes alive with yet another bass. Not a big one, but this cast for cash game is a matter of ounces. The right cast, the right bite, can shake up the standings.
Whew, he won't even weigh a pound. We'll cull him out. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, thank you, thank you. One more.
Despite the weather, these Alabama Bassin fans turn out. As the third day weigh-in progresses, the largest bass of the tournament, 6 pounds, 13 ounces, belongs to Texas pro David Wharton.
Now there is a killer. Look, folks.
And here comes the heaviest catch of the day.
Charlie Campbell, folks. A limited bass for Charlie Campbell of Missouri. 15 pounds and 12 ounces he had when he started out this morning. This is going to move you right up there with the big boys. Charlie's weight today, watch it, folks, biggest weight of the day, 16 pounds, 7 ounces. Let's give him a nice hand, folks. That's a remarkable catch.
As this weigh-in advances, the lead changes quickly.
All right, Charlie Ingram, 7 bass. He had 21 pounds when he started out this morning. Total weight today, 14 pounds, 3 ounces. Folks, that is bingo.
And Charlie Ingram takes a slim 9-ounce lead going into the 4th and final round of the 1990 Alabama Top 100. Although there's fog hanging in the low areas, the day is clear and cool. Charlie Campbell, who'd been hoping for more cloudy weather, nevertheless starts off in high gear.
Not a very big one, but maybe a keeper.
Missouri's Stacy King in 9th place doesn't waste many casts either. Better keep an eye on Charlie Campbell. He's found a pattern.
You know, it's real odd when you look at a lake like this, all the good-looking spots on it, and then you look, and what I look at on the bank here, where the fish seem to be, is where you have those real light-colored rocks. It's not great big chunk rocks, but just a lot of small rocks. And the fish seem to be up on these shallow banks, feeding when the wind comes up, or whenever you have a shade and wind both. And it's a lot better if you have if we had the storms come through like it did yesterday, or rain and with wind both, then they'll really bite good.
Stacy King hooks another bass. He started 5 pounds 13 ounces out of first place this morning. He has some ground to make up. The tournament leader, Tennessee angler Charlie Ingram, is fishing pockets in a major creek. His spinnerbait technique is to fish small brush piles, docks, and other visible cover. The key here may be some stained water, which Charlie says he encountered. In the last 3 days, he's caught 35 pounds, 13 ounces of bass, mostly largemouth from this area. The time is midday, and Charlie says he has about 12 or 14 pounds in the live well. Is that enough? We know Charlie hasn't won on the Bassmaster tournament trail since 1984. He's due. The final weigh-in, and Pro Division challenger Johnny Borden comes to the scales.
6 bass, all alive, and it looked like good weight. Maybe 8 pounds or more here. What do you imagine they weigh?
I'm going to say about 10 pounds.
Look at the lead.
Not for long.
Weight, 10 pounds, 4 ounces. Folks, just give a nice hand. 10 pounds, what'd I say?
You said 4, it's 12.
Well, I wanted to see if you're looking.
I'm looking.
Amateur angler Rodney Ledbetter from Alabama led his division yesterday. He's got a shot at winning an $18,000 Ranger bass boat. Does he have enough?
He's coming up here with 5 bass to his credit. Ledbetter's got a good creel, and we'll hear his story. Total weight today, 7 pounds, 8 ounces. Let's give him a nice hand. I believe you might call yourself champion of this division. I hope so.
And now this morning's Pro Division leader.
Now, folks, here's a man, my good buddy, Charlie Ingram, who pulled into the lead yesterday, and he's going to try to hold on and win this tournament for him. He's a great name in fishing and a great friend of ours with 35 pounds and 15 ounces. A day of solid limited bass for Charlie Ingram. He can't be beat. Watch the scale, folks. This is championship stuff. 14 pounds and 8 ounces. Yes, sir. That'll do it right there, Razor.
And the champion of the 1990 Alabama Top 100, Charlie Ingram. His 26 bass weighing 50 pounds, 7 ounces, averaged under 2 pounds each, but added up to a $45,000 payday. And the amateur champ, Rodney Ledbetter, with 21 bass and 28 pounds, 10 ounces. Right now, it's time for the Pros Pointer, the how-to section of the Bassmasters. Brought to you by Wrangler, the most comfortable jeans known to man.
In the fall of the year, you know, the basic patterns for me, especially on man-made lakes, is I like to go back into the backs of the creeks. And the other thing I really like to do is I try to step down the lure size. A lot of times, everybody's been fishing a lot of big baits at that time of year. These bass will move back in the backs of the creeks to get on kind of shallow cover. And instead of fishing your big crankbaits like you would out on your ledges and your, I tend to get up on the real shallow creek channels and the shallow ledges. And, you know, basically, I'll start with a spinnerbait a lot of the times. And again, I'll go down to about an 1/8 ounce spinnerbait. And, you know, if a lot of people are fishing a spinnerbait in that area, I'll fish again around the little shallow creek channels where maybe you got 2 or 3 foot on the shallow, dropping into the creek channel, which is deeper. If that doesn't work, if a lot of people are fishing spinnerbaits, then I'll drop down from my little small crankbaits, you know, the little 1/8 ounce and 1/4 ounce type crankbaits, and just work that shallow cover. You know, bounce it through that 2 or 3 foot water around the stumps and around the logs. This is especially effective on those early fronts in the fall of the year when you first start getting those first frontal passages. They tend to quit hitting a big bait, but you'll still catch a lot of your fish on your smaller baits.